Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here at Justin's Fish Room, and today's going to be another update video, but we're also going to talk a little bit about how I go about my nightly routine with my fish. I apologize if I do muddle up my words a little bit tonight. I'm very tired, but we shall see how I go. But I'm here at the discus tank again because you guys haven't really seen the discus tank in a while. They are ready for sleep. They've kind of lodged themselves in the wood. This guy's like, yo, what are you doing? They're not very happy with me at the moment. Plecos are starting to come out, the tiger plecos. And yeah, so basically they're going into nocturnal mode. So I can't really give you too much footage of these guys because they'll probably get a little bit annoyed. But let me know if you guys want to see a video about discus fish in particular. I know you guys are very keen about rams like I am. I'm also very passionate about discus fish, so please let me know if that would be something that you're interested in. But yeah, as I said, tonight we're going to be having a look at my nightly routine, and we're going to be specifically looking at how to do the Artemia or baby brine shrimp hatchery. Very simple setup. I can tell you right now, there's no need for those really expensive like hatchery jug setups that you get from online. I just use a jug, air stone or air pipe, a peg, and obviously salt. And very simple, very cheap. And after all, we are a breeding channel, so Artemia or BBS is a very crucial aspect to our hobby. Even if you breed guppies, as you'll see, I feed my Guppy Fry that I got the other day with it, and they're just growing so well. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it, and yeah, let's go. I'm also going to show you my nighttime routine. So I've got my bag of live BBS that I hatch here, my eggs, because I'm going to make a new batch, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do to prepare everyone for bed. So it's quite late here, it's already like 7 o'clock. So this is the last feeding of the day. It's about 5 feedings per day. Everyone's had water changes, so I'm not going to bother with the water change tonight, which is a little bit unusual, but it's not absolutely crucial because I can just do a water change tomorrow. So let's go ahead and feed the black ram and black celestial fry, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so you're actually looking at some black celestial and GBRs here. I just call this spawn the black ram spawn because it's kind of like in between a GBR and a black celestial. But I'm going to go ahead and give them some BBS now. So as you can see, these guys are quite large. They're juveniles, obviously because they look like miniatures of the adult fish, but they are still eating mostly BBS at this stage. These guys are about 2.5 weeks old, and they are starting to eat my homemade fry dry food. As you can see on the bottom, there's some fine powder, and they've been picking away at that all day. So yeah. So here's just a side view of them eating. You can see they're so big now, you can't even see the BBS, but their stomachs are definitely getting nice and plump, which is great to see. And you can see the GBRs and the black celestial fry swimming there. Alrighty, so this spawn is very similar to the other spawn, as it's got black celestials, blue blacks, and GBR fry. And I'm going to go ahead and give these guys some BBS. And if you look straight down here, where I'm pointing with the pet, there's some crushed normal cichlid pellet. I'm just seeing now whether they will go for dry food, and if they will, I'll start giving them some of the fry food that I make. And yeah, they'll start eating, and then they'll get nice plump pink stomachs. And yeah, so I'm gonna go feed the shed rams. Alrighty, so as you guys know, these are the blue-black rams that started going out to their new homes. All of these blue-black pairs, so this is a male with his female here. There's also a black female at the back there. You can see her swimming to the front, just there. these have all been sold. Well, they've gone to their new homes. So very happy with how, like, the response that they got. And honestly, I knew most of the people that got these guys, so I was very happy that they got them because I know they're going to do so well with breeding them. So yeah, those guys are fed now, and I just gave them some pellet because I have leftover betta pellets from a while ago, so I'm just deciding to use those up. And this is the main juvenile tank. These guys are getting quite big now, so I'm going to have to start thinking about, once those guys are gone, I'm going to have to start incrementally getting them in that tank, like half of them, and then letting these guys grow, because you can see some are already getting really big. Some of them are actually staying small, which is a very typical thing to happen when you have so many fry in one tank. So this gets 50% water changes, so I take out that much water every single day and replace it with fresh Brisbane tap water. And I might do some rainwater occasionally. It doesn't really change anything. But then that's how I can have so many rams in one tank. Personally, I do not like having this many rams in one tank, so that's why I'm trying to move on stuff as quickly as possible. But as you can see, these guys are the same age down here in this slightly emptier tank. Quite a few of these guys have been moved to a community tank inside, and you can see how big they are already. They're the same age as these guys, but they are in a tank with fewer rams. So that's what my goal is now, to get these guys into their own tanks so they can start growing as much as they want. For now, I'll give them some BBS and yeah, see how they just go crazy for it. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so these are the guppies, the Guppy Fry that we got from that female, which I've posted a video about not so long ago. As you can see, if Britt can get the camera to focus, it's very hard, I know, because they're so small, but if you come up higher a little bit, higher, you can kind of see they're starting to get some color on their tail, on their tails, I should say. It's a little bit of like orangey yellow color and some black markings. So they're doing really well, thriving off the BBS that I make. I always recommend people to feed any fish fry BBS because it's honestly just the best food you can give them. It's got so many nutrients in it. You know, the egg yolk in day-old BBS is uncomparable. It's, yeah, just a superior food for fish fry. And as you can see, these guppies, although they are just guppies, as you might think of them, you know, they are eating crazy, eating like crazy, and so are the rams. So yeah. An update on the lemon blue eyes, they're actually doing really well. They are growing a heap. They've probably grown double the size from when I got them, and quite a few people have been asking about them, as well as my albino Cory catfish. There's probably better footage there. Okay. And these guys are honestly lifesavers in terms of having silica sand in an aquarium, because they sift the sand and make sure that there's no, you can kind of get like a mold growth. It's algae and bacteria and all sorts of things, but you get that without sand sifters. And although GBRs are earth eaters, as the name suggests, it's worth having these guys to thoroughly sift the sand to make sure that there is none of that growth, and you get this like white silica look, which I absolutely love and looks really good with the ram. So you can see even the bristlenose love going on the sand and eating stuff with the sand. So it's definitely worth thinking about when you're planning to do silica sand. I use smaller albino cories. As soon as they get to a certain size, I just give them away. I gave some of the bigger ones away to my partner's dad because he has some fish tanks that he set up. And they've bred like crazy in his tank. So yeah, definitely worth getting into. Speaking of bristlenose, here's my breeding colony of bristlenose plecos. There's my normal bristlenose that I got when it was like smaller than that. I've got super red bristlenose in here too. Don't know how it got in here, but anyways. There's my male albino, and this is his harem of females. There's about 7 females, I think. There's some here. And this tank is constantly a little bit milky in color because I feed them algae wafers. I really need to find algae wafers that are less, like that excrete less of that milkiness into the water. I do heaps of water changes on this tank and it still is there. So if you guys have any suggestions about a brand of algae wafer that you guys use that does not do this, please let me know. I need to start changing the brand that I'm using. So the black celestial rams are doing well as always. You can see beluga in the middle of your screen. Well, there's a blue-black female who loves the spotlight, but there's beluga, and usually very secretive, so I'm glad I'm getting some footage of him. They're going through a bit of a territorial spell at the moment where they're kind of reshuffling their territories, which is interesting behavior because I thought they settled down a while ago. Beluga always has first pick, obviously. It's just very good looking male. And there's a blue-black pair at the back there that are fighting with black celestial pair. So we'll see how that goes too. That's just an update on these guys, and looking good as always. So the lighting in this tank is pretty horrific because I have so many things like floating in the water, blocking out the light, and so much duckweed as well. I need to start getting that under control. But so you can't really see the quality of these rams at the moment, but you know, they're very, very beautiful, as you guys know, and as many of you who have these rams actually know. Really looking forward to these guys breeding again. I need to start cleaning the glass a little bit, but besides that, these guys are doing well. I've been doing pretty regular water changes on this tank at the moment, and I've been seeing a lot of attempted spawns from, if I can find them, from my bronze cories, but there's 2 males, but you know, it's 21st century, so who knows. And the plants in here are starting to die a little bit because of the duckweed. So I really need to start getting in here, cutting stuff back. I need to start getting rid of as much of the duckweed as possible. I think I'm going to move these Chopre Danios out into a pond. And oh yeah, there's the bronze cory, one of them. And then the Altura 1 plecos have bred, so that's always great to see. And I'm just kind of letting them do their own thing at the moment because I'm a little bit busy with uni. But besides that, doing really well with the rams still, producing a heap of babies, and moving a heap on, so that's always good. You guys didn't get to see these babies last time, but there you go. So they're only a week apart from that batch over there, so they're doing well. Doing very, very well, and starting to pick at some crushed cichlid pellet. So hopefully they'll be on fry food soon. Alrighty, so another part of my daily, well, my nightly routine is making sure that I get some more BBS ready for the next day. So in cooler temperatures, it usually takes between 2 and 3 days for my BBS to hatch. I use Oceans 1, something like that. BBS. If you want to know exactly what brand I use, just ask me in the comments down below and I'll tell you. It's really good. It's got a really good hatch rate, as many other brands do, and I have to do it every single night because you know how many babies I have. I go through quite a bit of BBS. It's better to hatch your own rather than to buy frozen, or there's like this live this BBS product, baby brine shrimp product that you can get. It's like suspended BBS in a jar, and it's really good for like angelfish and like all sorts of fish like that for their fry. I've heard such bad things with rams. It does not work with rams because ram fry are so in need for that like movement stimulation to eat, that I've heard it doesn't work. So I'd stay away from those products. I would hatch your own BBS. It's cheaper, it's better quality, and yeah, it's very simple, as you'll see. Alrighty, so I'm not particular about the salt that I use. You can pretty much use any salt, just nothing with like added stuff to it. To be safe, I use API aquarium salt. I also use, you can even use pool salt apparently. I have never used that. I would try it, but I guess the amount that I need to make is not really in need for that much salt, because as you probably know, it's like the 20-liter bags. So I'll stick to a box. And I essentially just take a jug like this. It's really, really simple and easy. I get this from Bargain City, and I just pour the tiniest little bit of salt. Like, it's not that much and it's not too little. And just coat the bottom, and then I just put a teaspoon of BBS eggs, or Artemia eggs, depending on where you're from. And then, yeah, I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, so that's about a little bit too much. Oh no, that's about right. So that's a teaspoon of BBS, and I just pour that in the bottom. Now, I'll just tap it. A tip with the BBS, a lot of people put the salt, then the water, then the eggs. As you guys know, if you've done this before, with BBS eggs, they're so tiny and so light that if you put them in last with water, they kind of stick to the surface and around the edges. I would do this. So you put the salt in, then you put the eggs, and then you put the water in. And it actually mixes in really, really well, as you'll see. Okay, so now we're just gonna add, just on cold, the normal tap water. And as you can see, it's already mixing really well. And I fill it up to about just before the top. So it's like that. Obviously the salt is coarse salt, so it hasn't fully dissolved, but we'll go and do that now. Alrighty, so we have our jug of BBS, and as you can see, most of it's actually sunk to the bottom, which is great. I've actually got a little section under my Black Celestial ram tank with a towel, and I have an air hose here that I used to put an air crystal on the end of, but I found it's just as good to just put the bubbler in. If you come close and have a look, and it just bubbles away like that, and in 24 hours it should hatch. So I've never had a failed hatch, and I just had a look at the type of BBS that I use. Not sponsored obviously, but Ocean Nutrition, and yeah, it's $54.95, so $55 is pretty expensive, but what you get out of it is pretty good. And as you can see, it's got a greater than 90% hatching rate, so very, very impressive, and yeah, I would recommend this brand. Okay, so one thing you kind of may run into with the BBS is, even though you do the steps that I told you, you put the salt, then the BBS eggs, then the water, and it's mixed pretty well, you'll still get a line of BBS eggs on the top here. So if you come have a look, you can see there's a whole heap of perfectly good BBS eggs around the rim. I just get a spoon and just do that, and you just keep on doing that over about like a period of 10 minutes, and eventually it just stays in the water. It's pretty weird. I don't know why I started doing it, but I started doing it one day because I thought, wow, that's so much wasted BBS eggs. I'm gonna see what I can do. And it just stays in the water after a while. So definitely try to do that to make sure that you get as much out of your purchase as possible. And yeah, that's about it. So one of my favorite discus of all time, Clyde, is coming out and displaying his beautiful red color. Honestly, one of the most friendliest discus fish I've ever had. He's very, very cool. He actually, in the evening when he sleeps, he goes into the hollow part of the log and he lodges himself in there and he sleeps there, and then during the day he comes and hangs out with everyone else. Anyway, definitely let me know if you guys want to see more videos on discus fish. It is quite limited because this is the only discus fish tank we have, but it's a very, very enjoyable tank. So yeah, and that comes to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Always appreciate your time, always appreciate your lovely comments, and hearing about your guys' fish keeping journeys, where you guys decide to go. So please leave a comment. If you like this video, please like. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Makes a world difference to me. And yeah, happy fish keeping, everyone. See ya.